Thank you one and all for joining us in this 2020 COVID experience of Remembrance Day. Please join us in singing the Canadian National Anthem. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. Not only is 2020 a commemorative year in the circumstances that we face today, but it's also the 75th anniversary of two important moments in Canadian military history, and a third that we'll pay tribute to here today. In 1945, the end of the war, the liberation of Holland occurred on the 5th of May. The original signing of the documents of surrender happened on the 8th of May. But in Holland to this day, they commemorate the freedom of their nation on the 5th of May. From this very community, Lieutenant Norman James Nixon of the Cape Breton Highlanders was in the final assault at the Disville Battery. The battery was the last assault before the end of the war for the Cape Breton Highlanders. Norman was killed 5 days before the end of the war. He was a teacher in this community. Up in Mayfield, you can still to this day, in the middle of a field where the schoolhouse used to be, you see a commemorative plaque in his honor. So this year, the 75th anniversary commemoration of the liberation of Holland and the end of the war. Before it, VJ Day, which we also commemorate this year. It was 75 years ago that the war ended in Japan, and the final ending of the war. This community also lost people in that portion of the war. Flying Officer Hazen Doherty, who was 22 years old, was flying a Vengeance fighter bomber over Burma when his plane went down due to enemy action while they were attacking a bridge. We commemorate Mr. Doherty as well on the 75th anniversary of VJ Day. The 70th anniversary of the beginning of the war in Korea, we also note this year. In this community in Milltown, we lost Private John Carlisle Meehan, who was with Charlie Company, the RCR. They were in a position at Hill 97 when 400 communists assaulted their position. His platoon retook that position, but he was killed in the effort. We remember him, even though he's not here. At this moment, we'll be placing the wreaths and crosses, and again, due to COVID protocol, there will only be a limited number of crosses placed. The remainder of the crosses have been pre-placed and wreaths, and after we place these first 5, we'll read the names of those who have been pre-placed. First cross wreath being laid on behalf of the people of Canada for Mr. John Williamson, laid by Comrade Earl Eastman. The next wreath being laid on behalf of the people of New Brunswick, Kathy Bacchus. The next wreath being laid in memory of Silver Cross sacrifices and Silver Cross mothers, paid by Comrade Linda Bartlett. The next wreath being laid, representing the St. Croix branch number 9, Comrade Mel Walker. The next wreath being laid Junior Ladies Auxiliary President Carolyn Atchison. The last wreath being laid by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, Sergeant Stubbs and Constable Dave Thorne. I'll now read the names of the following people and organizations who have pre-laid wreaths in memory of those we have lost. The St. Stephen Fire Department, Western Charlotte Fire Department in memory of Gordon Matheson, the Town of St. Stephen, the St. Croix Catholic Women's League, in memory of Lomax Baker from Carol Baker and family, in memory of Norman Bruce Buchanan by the family, in memory of Bertha Busquet by the family, in memory of Renee Busquet by the family, in memory of Cameron Moffat by the family, in memory of Benoit Comeau and Archie Fairweather by the Fairweather family, in memory of James Giddens by Bernice and family, in memory of Louis Thomas by Linda, Rick, Sandra and family, in memory of Phil Arnold Roscoe Caldwell by Marjorie and family, in memory of Manzer Duplessis by Herb and Linda Duplessis, in memory of Jadis Savoy by the Savoy family, in memory of George Everett Pat McBride by the family, in memory of Major Burton Kennedy by the daughter Pam and Wes McGarrigle and family, in memory of James McNamara by Sterling, Sherry, and Sean, in memory of Willis Voigt by Sherry, Sean, and Sterling, in memory of David James Cleghorn and his father James William Cleghorn from the family, in memory of Maynard and Hazen Doherty by the family, in memory of James Fahey by Lillian Dennis and family, in memory of Douglas Lord by the family, in memory of Ralph Daigle by the Daigle family, Alan and his family, in memory of Phil Moffat, Elaine Cook, Betty Hooper, and family, in memory of Doug and Betty Doherty from the family, in memory of the veterans of Western Charlotte by Meet Your Neighbors Men Club, in memory of Charles, Leonard, and Albert Myers by Sandy Thomas and family, the DeWolf Women's Institute, in memory of Joseph Babe LeBlanc from Avenir Hearing, the Carleton and York Regiment, the 8th Princess Louise Hussars, the Canadian Forces School of Engineering, 5th Canadian Division, CP Gagetown, the Gulf War Veterans, 1180 Army Cadet Corps, Ambulance New Brunswick, 2nd St. Stephen Scouts, Cubs and Beavers, McDonald's St. Stephen's, in memory of veterans from People Unit, 2nd Cav, in memory of Norman Caldwell from Les Caldwell, Meehan's Funeral Home, in memory of Lorne and Lindy Groom, with love from the family, and finally in memory of Bernard Halstead by Kate Halstead and family.
This list is from donations to the Poppy Fund for 2020, Ann C. Robinson Professional Corporation, Meehan's Funeral Home, Doctors Dara and Burbine, Speedy Glass, Keith's Building Supplies, Halstead Electric, Disher Homes, St. Croix Auto, Classic Woodworking, Milltown Trucking, Downey Ford, IODE, Charlotte County GM, Moffett Dodge, Mayfield Vet, Order of Eastern Star, CIBC, Mech Muffler, Source One Supplies, Car Stars, Dan's Barber Shop, Triple H Automotive, Cox Electrics, OK Tire, St. Stephen Milltown Rotary Club, The Glass Guys, Canadian Tire, Carmen's Diner, Greenlaw's Garage, A Plus Upholstery, Past to Present, Casey's Custom Auto, Dempsey's Plumbing, Dr. Kenneth McDonald Corporation, Herb and Linda Duplessis in memory of Herb Sprout, Jim Tubbs, Mrs. Harriet Doherty in memory of Hazen and Maynard Doherty, Harry and Stephen Libby and Chad O'Quinn, Marcella Caldwell, Floyd and Lorna Haley and Groom family, Nick Schwartz, Judy Els Whittenham, Richard McConkey, Gary Essenza, Rob and June Kennedy, Maxine Sweeney, Eugene C. Wormel, Melanie Caldwell, Mildred Ingersoll, Sylvia Wilkes, St. Stephen Milltown Lions Club, Jill Grimmer, Kiwanis Club of St. Stephen.
Due to COVID-19 restrictions, the Legion will not be open to the public following the ceremony this year. Anyone who has placed a wreath, you are welcome to pick them up at the Cenotaph after the ceremony. Any remaining wreaths or crosses will be returned to the Legion branch where you can pick them up there. I want to thank you one and all for attending this ceremony under these extreme circumstances. I know a lot of folks who wore the uniform before in the past and the present and the future respect you for it all the more. Thank you one and all. Please join us for singing God Save the Queen.